Today's lesson is on rational exponents. So we did learn some of this back when we did 5-6 last week. So we're going to look at number 1 where we have the square root of x plus 2. And you did learn that even though you don't see it, there's a little 2 in there, okay? And technically you could put this in parentheses with a 1 outside. So if we have to write this with a rational exponent, we could put x plus 2 to the 1/2 power, and that would be an equivalent expression. Number 2, we could do the same thing for this. We could put the y minus 5 in parentheses, and because it's a cube root, we're going to have to the 1/3 power, and then we're still going to have this plus 2 out here to the side. Now number 3, same thing. We're going to put y minus 3 in parentheses, and that will be to the 1/2 power because this has a power of 1 even though you don't see it, and square root always has a little 2 right there. All right, over here, it's kind of hard to see on the worksheet, but I think this is a 5. So we're going to do y plus 6 to the 1/5 power, and then we're going to have the minus 3 out here to the side. Okay, on the next part, we have to match each of the following to the equivalent expression. So we just need to look and see which ones will match up. So if we look at A is 2 to the 1/3 power. So if we were to look over here to the right and think about taking that from a rational exponent to a written in radical form, that would be like having a 2 to the 1st power, and then the root is the denominator there, so it would be this right here. It would be the cube root of 2. And so you could match that one up with number 6. Okay, look at B, the square root of m minus 3, and think about what you could find as an equivalent expression. So we're just moving back and forth between radical and rational. If you said number 3, you are correct. All right, looking at letter C, 2 to the 2/3 power. Now, if we wanted to think about that a little bit, we could write 2 squared, and then the denominator is the root. So it could look like that. So that might help you a little bit further in finding what you need. Now, you do know what 2 squared is. That would be 4. So this is basically the cube root of 4. And now I think you can easily see that that one is answer choice 5. Okay, letter D, the square root of m minus 3. Well, the square root of m is the same thing as m to the 1/2 power, and then minus 3, so that's going to be answer choice 1. 2 to the 1/2 power, that's pretty easy. That's the square root of 2. And then the last one, F, the square root of 3m is going to be 3m to the 1/2 power. Okay. Let's look here at number 6. This is number 6. It's a little blurry. I'm really sorry. I think the homework is a little bit better. So 12 to the 1/2 power is the same thing having the square root of 12 plus the square root of 2. Now let's think about what we know. We can break down that 12. Remember, we want to find one of the numbers that's a perfect square. They can go into 12. So that could break down into 4 times 3. And the 4 can come out as a 2. And then you have the 3 left inside. Now I just realized this is different. On your paper, you have 3 to the 1/2 there. So sorry about that. Up here in the problem, adjust. Well, your problem is right. I'm just adjusting it in my notes here. Okay, so we worked out the square root of 12. Now let's work out that should be square root of 3. Well, we can't. So we just bring it down like this. Now there's a 1 in front. So since the number inside the radical is the same, we can add these numbers. So 2 plus 1 is going to be 3 square root of 3. Okay, number 7. make sure that one's correct. Okay, I'm sorry, it's a little blurry. I think I thought on the paper that was a 2, so I'm going to do it this way. So the square root of 32 plus the square root of 16. Well, the square root of 16 is just 4. And then we can break down the 32 into 16 times 2. The 16 would come out as a 4, square root of 2. And then because they don't have the same number inside the radical, the second term doesn't have a radical, this is just going to be our answer. But I just realized that I think, let's just go over here real quick and let's practice this problem if it looked like this. 32 to the 1/2 plus 16 to the 1/3. And let's look at that. So we would, because I think that's what it was. So we'll just do both of these. All right, so if we were to rewrite this, we would rewrite this as the square root of 32 plus the cube root of 16. Okay, now the square root of 32, we've already broken it down. So we know it's going to be 4 square root of 2, okay, from a minute ago. But the cube root of 16, if you think about a number times itself again, that's 16, it's hard to come up with that. 2 times 2 times 2 would be 8. 3 times 3 times 3 would be 27. So I'm not seeing how we get 16. However, if we took the 16 and we broke it up into 8 times 2, we could do, so like if it was like this, the cube root of 8 times 2, we could do the cube root of 8 because 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So we could do the cube root of 8 would be 2, but then we still have the cube root with the other 2 left inside. So we're still not able to combine those. So I guess that really didn't help us. But you could break up a cube root like that to kind of help you. Okay, let's go on and look at the last one, number 8 here. Okay, which of the following expressions are equivalent to 3 square root of 2? Select all that apply. That means there's going to be more than one answer. Okay, so if we look here at what we have, 3 to the 1/2 power is the same thing as the square root of 3 plus 2 to the 1/2 power is the square root of 2. So that's not going to be 3 square root of 2. That's not going to be 1. Okay, if we look at the next one, the square root of 8, because 8 to the 1/2 is the square root of 8, plus the square root of 2. If we rewrite that, the square root of 8 can break down into 4 times 2, and the 4 comes out as a 2 square root of 2, plus the square root of 2 that we already have here. And so if you add those together, 2 plus 1 would be 3 square root of 2, and that is one of our options here. So that's going to be an answer. And then if we look here at this next one, this is 3 times 2 to the 1/2. Well, 2 to the 1/2 is the square root of 2, so that's 3 square root of 2, so that's another option. If we break this down into 9 times 2, the 9 comes out as a 3, so we have 3 square root of 2. That's another option. If we broke down this 8 into 4 times 2, the 4 would come out as a 2, and then there's already a 2 out here, so that would give us 4 right there, 4 square root of 2, so that's not going to be an option. And then the square root of 8, the 4 comes out as a 2, plus bring down your square root of 2, and that's a 1 in front, so 2 and 1 is 3 square root of 2, so there's another option right there. Okay, do your best on your homework using this. I know it can be a little tricky at times, but I just want you to do the very best that you can, and I wish you Good luck on your test this week. You're going to be working on a review tomorrow. Please take your time. When you grade it on Wednesday, please make sure that you go back and rework any problems you missed, as well as any problems that you struggled with in the entire unit. So you want to do a good job. All right, thank you.